WSBA Morning News with Gary Sutton, and I've been looking forward to this interview this morning. This is a guy who used to be a newspaper guy in our local area here, Ted Czech, who is the author of a brand new book called Saving the Beast, a recovering reporter reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it. And Ted joins us this morning here on WSBA. Ted, an honor to have you aboard. Good morning to you.
Oh, thank you, Gary. It's great to be here.
Well, Ted, tell people a little bit about where you're from, because you've done some newspaper reporting here in our local area, and what led you to write this book?
Well, yeah, I'm originally from New England, but I did move to this area, or originally to Franklin County in 1998, and then to York in 99. Worked at the Dispatch for about 4 years, and then was transferred to the Daily Record until I left there in 2021.
So,
but as far as the book, this I would say is like a love letter. But when I say love, I mean tough love, because I'm so passionate about the craft of journalism, and I've seen some things in recent years that really I feel are troubling, and so I felt compelled to write this book.
Let's go to the heart of it. You're a reporter. You were a reporter, and you say you're a recovery reporter now. But when you learned how to be a reporter, when you learned how to do news, what did you learn? What was at the heart of your principles in terms of reporting and doing news at that time?
Right. Absolutely, 100%. The number one thing, objectivity.
Okay.
And when I talk about that, that means, as far as a journalist, presenting all sides of an issue.
Right.
So you're not taking a side, which is what we've seen, within the last maybe decade or two in colleges and universities, where they're teaching students how to be activists and advocates you take like whatever you feel is the moral high ground, and you advocate for that side in your story, in your journalism, in a story that's supposed to be, purportedly journalism. And that is not true journalism. True journalism is objectivity, which means you present all sides of a story, and you have faith in your readership, in your viewers, that they have critical thinking, and that they will be able to determine, how they view the story, and then use that as a jumping off point to do further research. But really, just laying it all out there for people.
It sounds like you have a respect for the individual, that they have the ability to take that information and then use it as they will, or process it as they will. It wasn't your job to process that for them. And so many today seem to want to process that for you and say, don't believe your lying eyes and ears, believe what it is that I'm telling you right here, and somehow have a lack of respect for the people who are the consumers of that. But you also mentioned, in addition to objectivity, professionalism. And I think that's something that's really missing today. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, that encompasses so much. There's one example I give in the book about a reporter who approached a legislator, a congressman, on a train, and talking about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. But when the congressman said, I'd rather not talk at this moment in time, the reporter continued to harass and berate this congressman. That is totally unprofessional. That is not what is taught, or what was taught in J school, as we refer to it. When I was taking classes, which would have been in the mid-90s.
Right. You talk about the beast being the media here, and you talk about feeding the beast, but now you say the beast is dying at the moment. Talk about why it's dying from your vantage point.
Well, I think we're in a paradigm shift here, really a pivotal time in history, because people have decided that they are frustrated, that they are upset at the media, and they're taking their time and their money elsewhere. And so we've seen the rise in independent and citizen journalists, and a lot of people are gravitating towards those because frankly, they've had it with the mainstream media.
You talk about the public expected the media to deliver the news, and you mentioned about unbiased, objective a moment ago. And in return, they gave the media their trust, their time, and their money. They'd buy a newspaper every day. They would go out. I couldn't wait to get out and get my newspaper. And you say now American journalism has become unrecognizable. And so, as you said, the public has responded, as you write in your book, with frustration, distrust, and downright enmity. Talk about that a little bit.
Right. So, well, I have one phrase that I use in the book about the thirst to be first usually means you're the worst. So,
Okay.
journalists are so bent on just getting the news out there, and that was always the case. You always want to get the scoop, right? But you want to be accurate. And now it seems we've thrown accuracy out the window. So the thirst to be first, so that they're getting stuff out there. The media is taking the bait on a lot of things, and so it's shoot first, ask questions later. And that is not going back to professionalism. That's not the way that a professional journalist conducts him or herself. That's not what I call true journalism.
Yeah, ready, shoot, aim does not work real well in this business, and you start to scatter
and it
shot.
Gets people upset.
It does,
and it gets people upset. Yeah,
and it gets people in trouble as well. I mean, in the long run. Ted Czech, our special guest this morning, author of Saving the Beast, a recovering reporter reflects on America's broken media and how to fix it. Ted, you were a reporter for 25 years, so if someone wants to read about a look at the media, I can't think of someone better than a reporter to do this. You've been critical. It's kind of like a physician heal thyself kind of book, right?
Yeah, that's what I figure. Who better than me? I mean, not me personally,
sure.
But who better than a reporter? Who better than a reporter to? Well, now I consider myself one of the harshest critics of the media.
So
because I know them so well.
So you talk about the beast being the media, and in the beginning we mentioned about feed the beast, and then why the beast is dying.
We would use.
Yeah, and why the beast is dying. But now, can the beast be saved? That's the question. I mean, or should you just scrap it and come up with a new model on how to present our news and get our media stuff out in this country? Your thoughts on that?
Right. So I look at it as sort of like a drug addict, where the drug addict has to hit rock bottom before they realize that they are the problem. So the mainstream media, I don't think, has reached that point yet. They're still blaming it on other things, why they are hemorrhaging readers and viewers and money. They need to somehow get to that point where they look in the mirror and realize that they're the problem. Once they do, then the first order of business is to apologize. And I'm talking about like front page, above the fold kind of apology.
Right.
And I think there might be some credence to that. I think America loves a comeback. America is willing to forgive just about anything as long as you're contrite. So that would be the first order of business. And then you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. You have to put it into practice.
It's ironic. Today is the 171st birthday of the New York Times. And, of course, as always runs up there, all the news it's fit to print. I'm not sure they maybe shouldn't change that byline now to something else. But so you look at it and you say, are people going to and I agree with you. I think a lot of people are not willing to change right now because I don't know if they know any better. Have we gotten to the point where they don't know any better? I used to look at Watergate, and a lot of people talk Woodward and Bernstein and the reporting they did there. And the message they should have taken away was, well, okay, you do good reporting, you do all the checking, you do all the facts, and something big might happen out of it. Instead, I think people saw it, well, I want to do something famous, and then I'll fill in the stuff underneath behind it. That's kind of what I think the lesson, unfortunately, was taken away. What's your thought on that?
Well, if you're talking about like the pursuit of awards in journalism,
right?
You can have a drawer full of awards, and that's really not going to get you much of anything.
Exactly.
And I did that for probably the first half of my career. I pursued awards. We like the accolades, we like seeing our name in print, and so I pursued those awards, and really didn't get past the state level. But after a while, I decided that was kind of a fruitless endeavor, and so I just kind of focused on my craft.
So where does the new beast go? Where do you go to find a way to fix this whole thing, if it's possible? About 30 seconds left.
Sure. Yeah, I would say first there needs to be a change in the way that journalism is taught in the colleges and universities. And we need to get rid of the, as I said before, the activism, journalism, the advocacy journalism. That's one thing. And then we need to return to local news. If you look at the papers around here, there's not much local news being written anymore. There's a lot of filler, both from the state, from the national level. We need to return to local news. That's the bread and butter of small newspapers. That's how they make their money, and or they should. That was how it used to be. Right. And I think we need to see a return to that, and people, because people want to know what's going on in their backyard.
Ted, I want people to buy this book. Where can they go to find it right now? I know Amazon is a place that everybody goes for everything, right?
Yeah. It's on Amazon. It's there. But if you for whatever reason you don't want or like Amazon, it is available on Barnes & Noble. And I think it's going to start to trickle down to some of the other distributors as well. But those are the two main ones. And if you like Kindle, it's on the Kindle as well as paperback.
Ted, let's do a follow-up sometime on this. I hope you do well with the book. Your approach to it is unbelievable, and I think some humbleness by people realizing it's broken, as you've kind of looked at, and the critique you're giving, I think, is really important right now. I hope people will follow some of this. But again, on Kindle right now, $9.99, and paperback, $19.99. You can find it at Amazon. And go to Barnes & Noble, pick it out. I'm going to be getting this book in my library today, and I'll be reading it as well.
Thank you.
Great stuff, Ted. Thank you so much this morning. Always appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Gary.